6.
Right now, a warm-up is on the way for southern Wisconsin this week, and with that comes the chance of something we haven't seen in months, thunderstorms. Chris will have all of the details. Plus, with the warmer weather comes the risk of flooding, the warning to all homeowners as several feet of snow continue to melt.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on this Sunday, March 10th. Hopefully you sprang forward last night. Sprung forward? I don't know. Hopefully you set your clocks forward overnight. I'm Josh Ryder with meteorologist Chris Reese. Chris got a little dicey last night with a little snow.
It really did. My friend who's in from Texas got their wish, finally saw snow for the first time ever. So that was somewhat magical, but the roads certainly went down in a hurry. Yeah, you couldn't salt or anything with the rain that came beforehand. And folks, that snow just came down really, really hard in a short amount of time and certainly caused some issues. Now, we are watching that snow move out of the area as we speak. That's mainly across the northern tier of the state, but this is the storm system that brought the rain and the snow yesterday, really actually starting to fizzle on out just to our north. Still a lot of winds associated with that. In fact, we have seen some of those winds upwards of 40 miles per hour at times in terms of the gusts. Now, temperature-wise, we are right at the freezing mark, so I hope you didn't go out and shovel all of that away, because odds are Mother Nature will get rid of a lot of that snow for you, especially as we go through the coming days. Winds in Platteville are sustained at 36 miles per hour right now, 10 mile per hour winds here in Madison, and a lot of the highest wind gusts are just to our south. But as this low begins to move further and further towards our north and east, we are going to see those higher wind gusts gradually work their way towards the north and east as well. So expect a very breezy afternoon, staying cloudy for the most part with those temperatures hovering in the low 30s. I do think we'll see some peaks of sunshine by the time we get you towards the afternoon.
I know I teased it earlier, but we've got some warmer temperatures. I mean, like, really warm.
Substantially, like, switch those numbers there. The 3 and the 5, just switch that around. That is in our forecast for sure, along with lightning and thunder.
Oh, boy.
Yep, I'll be tracking that coming up.
Spring, finally.
Keep your fingers crossed.
All right, Chris.
All right.
Thank you. It is 6:32 right now. New overnight, Madison police are looking for 2 armed men wanted for robbing a liquor store on Raymond Road. Officers say it happened at iLiquor on the west side around 9 last night. 2 men wearing masks and hoodies and armed with handguns took merchandise and an undisclosed amount of money. They got away and haven't been found. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Madison police are also investigating a disturbance near Breeze-Stevens Field overnight. Police believe there was a fight involving several people that may have led to shots fired. Officers responded to the 1000 block of East Mifflin near Brewerly Street just before midnight for a weapons offense. They say the offense appeared to be targeted but didn't find anything or anyone who was hit by gunfire. And just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning, Janesville police say multiple shots were fired in the area of South Academy Street and West Van Buren overnight. Around 3:45, officers were called to that area and found numerous shell casings. They believe there were 2 shooters. Be sure to stick with Channel3000.com for updates to this story. More local news this morning. This continued warm-up means you could soon be dealing with flooding concerns once again. State officials are asking you to take a close look at your flood insurance policy before it becomes a problem. FEMA predicted last month that Wisconsin's flood risk could be well above normal over the next couple of months. The Insurance Commission says even if you purchase flood insurance, it doesn't go into effect for 30 days. So now's the time to make sure you have the appropriate coverage. Most standard homeowner policies do not cover flooding or seeping into the foundation. And just 1 inch of water can cause $25,000 of damage to your home. You can visit floodsmart.gov for more information. Some businesses are still working to get back on their feet following last summer's flooding, but this week a new sign of hope. In Middleton, a cancer support nonprofit will hold a reopening celebration after flooding devastated the facilities last summer. Gilda's Club of Madison was flooded with more than 500,000 gallons of water and experienced $1.2 million in damage. More than 600 donations helped that organization meet its $100,000 flood insurance deductible. The organization resumed programming in its Restore building on Monday, but a former celebration will be held Thursday starting at 4:30. Madison police are once again warning drivers to lock their cars after a sharp spike in the number of stolen vehicles last month. Officers reported a 41% increase in the number of stolen vehicles this February compared to the same month last year. Chief Mike Koval says there were 38 stolen auto reports in February alone. 28 of those have been recovered. Of the 38 stolen, 33 had keys in them. 11 stolen cars were unlocked and left running at the time the theft occurred. For anyone who parks their car in an underground garage, Madison police say criminals are targeting those vehicles even more. Since the start of the year, there have already been 25 reports of garage break-ins where thieves got away with stolen items. The majority have been reported on the city's west side. Well, after a break last year, the town of Middleton is bringing back its Sunflower Days to Pope Farm Conservancy. The event will take place between July 26th and August 4th. The amount of people visiting the sunflowers grew from a handful in 2007 to 90,000 people over 10 days in 2017. Due to safety concerns because of the large crowds, the Friends of Pope Farm Conservancy, a volunteer group, canceled the event last year. The town of Middleton has hired a local event firm to help host the event this time around.
And we just really feel that this is a marquee event for the town, and we have this fabulous, marvelous natural creation that people can enjoy. So they come out here, they see these acres of sunflowers, and they come out at twilight, they have a glass of wine, and they just enjoy the creation, and that's what we want.
The town of Middleton has one motel that pays a room tax, and the money from that room tax is being used to help pay for that event. You will see a new set of wheels out on the Beltline this week. After more than 5,000 calls in 2018, the Dane County Sheriff's Office is rolling out its second brand new Beltline service truck. A new Ford F-350 Super Duty is now on the road thanks to numerous private sponsors. The vehicle keeps busy answering calls for service along the Beltline, clearing disabled vehicles to keep traffic moving and keeping stranded drivers safe. It's a slightly more powerful one-ton vehicle with an improved lighting system. The village of DeForest has a new police chief starting tomorrow. James Olson was sworn in on Friday. He comes to our area after working for the Milwaukee Police Department for 29 years. Olson's hiring comes 6 months after the former police chief, Daniel Furseth, resigned when a racist YouTube video surfaced. A hefty tax would be imposed on e-cigarettes and vaping products as part of Governor Evers' budget proposal. He's recommending taxing e-cigarettes like tobacco at a tax rate of 71%. Vape shops say that the increase in prices could drive them out of business, but groups advocating to keep e-cigarettes away from teens call the plan a step in the right direction.
Probably getting money from parents or friends. Then if the tax is there, then it's more expensive for them to do, and they may avoid it for longer.
I know there are shops that are just vapor. I mean, a tax like this goes into effect, you're hurting a lot of small businesses.
State health officials say 20% of Wisconsin high schoolers used e-cigs last year. Knuckleheads employees say every customer's ID is scanned and they will not sell to anyone under 18. Well, the pressure is on for the Badgers as the team gears up for its final game of the regular season today. After Maryland topped Minnesota Friday, Wisconsin must beat Ohio State to secure the 4th seed in the Big Ten tournament. The 4th seed is the last double bye spot in that tourney. The Badgers' final regular season game tips off at 3:30 this afternoon, and then tournament play starts Wednesday with the championship game set for 1 week from today. A ticket to Lambeau will likely cost Packers fans more this season. Prices could increase anywhere from $1 to $6 per game. The team's front office says more than half will increase by $2 or less. But the good news, not all prices are going up. The 600 level tickets will actually decrease by $3. They say this year's increase is the smallest in the past 10 years. A former Green Bay Packer fullback announced this week he will retire in the green and gold. John Kuhn played for the Packers for 9 seasons from 2007 to 2015. After playing with Green Bay, he played with the New Orleans Saints, but was out of the football season this past season. He played in the second most regular season games in team history among running backs, behind only former fullback William Henderson. A beer battle that began with a Super Bowl commercial is going strong in Milwaukee. Bud Light launched an ad campaign pointing out other beers like Miller Lite use corn syrup in the brewing process. It is a bit misleading. The company doesn't use the unpopular high fructose corn syrup, and their process isn't much different than Bud's. Some in the Miller town of Milwaukee took offense to the ads. Casey Foltz, owner of Puddler's Hall, is doing something about it. He recently posted video of his staff pouring all of their Bud Light down the drain and said he won't sell any Budweiser until Bud backs off.
If they came back and apologized to the city and took the billboards down, then maybe I'd consider, bringing it back. But right now, no plans.
The beer companies recently teamed up to start a campaign to encourage people to drink more beer, but Miller pulled out of that meeting.
Hey! 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 Hey!
If you have ever been to a Badger hockey game, you probably know that cheer. Jeff Barrett is on the Jumbotron every game, pumping up the crowd. The season ticket holder, a Mineral Point native, has been sitting in section 126 for more than a decade.
Well, it's always moving, for one thing. And my brother and I, we were pretty rough and tumble kids. And so, when you get a sport where you beat people around, it's pretty exciting.
And that's not where this guy's passion ends. From someone who lives for speed on the ice to seeking it out for himself on a bike. You won't believe what Jeff does when he's not rooting on Wisconsin. We'll show you coming up in our 7 o'clock hour this morning. Just about 6:42 is your time this morning. A brewer is boarding up the small screen, and no, we're not talking about his spring training performance. And speaking of spring, a work week warm-up is on the way, and with that comes a chance of thunderstorms. Chris is tracking it all coming up in your First Alert forecast. This is News 3 Now this morning.
Well, the snow from yesterday has come and gone, and now we are replaced with what's coming next, and that is going to be some warmth. But officially, we did receive 1 inch of snow at the airport yesterday. That does bring our seasonal total now to 54.1 inches, which of course is still above average. Any snow we get at this point is just bonus for this time of the year. Now, we're still watching snow fly across the northern half of the state. A lot of that lifting on out of our area. It'll continue to do so as we go throughout the day. Temperatures are hovering right around that freezing mark as well. So you won't have any major problems shoveling. In fact, most folks won't have to shovel at all once the sun comes up. A lot of that snow will begin to melt on its own. We do have winds coming out of the west at 10 miles per hour right now. 34 degrees in Janesville, 34 as you work your way in Boscobel as well. Some 20s are showing up in northern parts of the area. Now, these are sustained winds right now. The sustained winds are at 20 as you work your way down towards Janesville, along with in the 30s down towards Platteville. Wind gusts are a lot higher in some spots. 48-mile-per-hour wind gusts down in Grant County right now. And as the system continues to move towards the north and east, I do think we'll see some of those wind gusts increasing as we go throughout the afternoon and evening. But they will begin to level out pretty much with those wind gusts anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour. And then as we head into your Monday, we'll really begin to see those winds come to an end. But do expect a pretty breezy Sunday. Temperatures topping out around 36 degrees this afternoon. Clearing skies tonight. That's going to allow those temperatures to fall into the teens. So tomorrow morning will be rather chilly, right around 17 degrees, and not getting all that much warmer with highs that'll make it into the lower 30s. But the big warmth comes on after that. See, high pressure is going to be in control for the next couple of days, eventually moving towards our east. Once that moves towards our east, that's going to set the stage for a warming wind to come into play along with some rain chances, but things are going to be a lot warmer, folks. In fact, we're going to see a large surge of warmth coming in from the southern part of the country, and that means that we could see temperatures making it into the 50s by the time we get you towards midweek, folks, and it's about time. Typically, we see our first 50-degree temperature around February 22nd. So we're almost a couple weeks late there, but it's finally coming into town. In fact, I think a lot of folks will appreciate that, even though we do have a chance for lightning and thunder that day. Some rain lingering into Thursday, perhaps some early morning flurries on Friday, but at least the next weekend does look nice, Josh.
For once, right?
For once. So we will hope that it stays that way, that nothing just pops up out of nowhere.
I hope so.
I know.
All right, Chris, thank you. NL MVP Christian Yelich had his time to shine this week on Magnum PI on CBS. Yelich showed up at a practice for the Little League World Series champions from Hawaii, and he stepped out of the golf cart to hang with the fellas for a while. He says he's not the best actor ever, but he's not the worst either. Here's how Yelich delivered his lines meeting the Little Leaguers.
What's up, guys? How we doing? I loved watching you guys play. You guys did awesome. Hey, Rick, you want to throw some BP while I talk to the kids?
Woo! I've been known to throw a curveball or two in my day. You sure you want to deal with this heat?
Let's see what you got.
All right, let's do it.
So Rick Wright thinks he can throw a pitch that Yelich can't hit, but not so shockingly, even in his golf shirt and jeans, Yelich found a pitch he liked and in slow motion hit it all the way to downtown Honolulu. That was his appearance on camera, but at the end of the show, we learned he had asked the lovely Juliette Higgins out for a date, which Higgins accepted, at least on the TV show. Well, there you go. Okay, so who says you can't have a little barbecue for breakfast? Well, maybe you can't have it right now. The restaurant's not open yet, but just ahead, we'll take you to the all-new beef butter barbecue in this month's Tastemaker. This is News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back at 6:52. The barbecue market is expanding on Madison's north side. Inspired by his love of Texas barbecue, the owner opened up Beef Butter Barbecue on Sherman Avenue. Madison Magazine's Andrea Baleen checked it out in this month's Tastemaker.
Well, we are here at Beef Butter Barbecue with Patrick Reha. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, my pleasure.
We're here with our sweet tea and this huge, beautiful spread. Can you tell me what we have here?
Yes. First of all, we have our famous beef butter brisket, and this happens to be the fatty. We have fatty and we have lean, and they both, even the fatty does not have much fat in it because we end up trimming 25% off before we even begin smoking. Then we smoke it for 12 hours, and that renders out most of the fat away, but it just has a very open grain and texture, and it just makes it fork tender. I mean, it just melts in your mouth. It's unbelievable. Then our second most popular dish is our smoked pulled pork, which is just so moist and tender. I mean, people just go nuts over it.
Oh, yum. Delicious. And these two sides here?
And these two sides, this is our famous smoked apple pie baked beans.
Smoked
I know
apple pie.
everything sounds famous, but the smoked apple pie baked beans, we smoke them for 4 hours, and it just has a nice smoky flavor to it. We put a little brisket meat in there.
Yum.
So you got to
And is
try.
that's an apple
Apples,
piece there?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. They have lots of apples in them.
Yum. Oh, it does. It's very sweet.
And this is our white cheddar mac and cheese, our potato salad, and our coleslaw, and we also do kettle chips.
And what is this here?
Oh, I am so glad you brought that up. That is jalapeno cheddar sausages. We make all of our own sausages in-house. I put in a special sausage line. We have John Lehman from Jim's Meat Market working for us now. And so we have a really nice state-of-the-art pneumatic sausage stuffer, and he makes everything from scratch, and then we smoke it on our smoker. And to take John's famous sausages and then smoke them, it's unbelievable.
Wow. So for those who miss Jim's Meat Market.
He's back in the neighborhood.
Very cool. And this over here.
All right, that is our boneless, skinless, smoked chicken. And it's a special smoker. It's a Myron Mixon smoker where I have a fire pot at the bottom. And then we have a 52-inch by 52-inch water pan with 3 inches of water in. And then we have a giant rotisserie smoker above that. And so what happens is the humidity helps the smoke attach to the meat. And so I have much moister meat than most people can do, and a nice smoke flavor to it.
And this place, did you renovate this place all yourself?
Oh, yeah. No, I had lots of help. In fact, a couple weeks before opening, I was just going to put up pictures of briskets, you know, from other famous barbecue joints across the country, because that's where I got my inspiration from. Yeah. But some friends of mine came in. I think they felt sorry for me, and so they like decorated this in one night.
In one night?
In one night.
Wow.
I mean, I had picked out the tables, and the landlord had picked out the floor, but they came in and did the decorations in one night.
Oh,
So
how cool.
I was really touched.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having us here today. I definitely have to try a couple more things.
Right. My pleasure.
You can read more about this tastemaker profile in this month's Madison Magazine on newsstands now. One more taste to share this morning. Heinz has unveiled 2 new sauces that mayo lovers may want to add to their grocery lists. They are Mayo Must, which combines mayonnaise and mustard, and Mayo Q, which brings together mayo and barbecue sauce. The new sauces are all due to the popularity of Mayo Chup, a mayonnaise ketchup mix that hit stores last year. It is 6:56 right now, and there's a full hour of more local news ahead for us on News 3 Now this morning. We'll have the latest on a search for a pair of armed robbers in Madison overnight. But first, here's a preview of an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everyone. Later this morning on For the Record, we will introduce you to a new community conversation project that promises to offer opportunities for ordinary citizens to talk to each other, as well as insight into how we communicate with each other in these very challenging times. It's called the Local Voices Network, and UW-Madison political scientist Kathy Kramer is the Local Voices Network site lead for Madison. And she'll join me this morning at 10:30 on News 3 Now.
Right now, where's the best place in the world to be a mom? Well, it's not here in America. We have to travel across the Atlantic to find out.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for staying with us on this Sunday, March 10th. I'm Josh Breiter. We'll get the latest on the forecast with Chris in just a moment, but first, new overnight, Madison police are looking for two armed men wanted for robbing a liquor store on Raymond Road. Officers say it happened at iLiquor on the west side around 9 last night. Two men wearing masks and hoodies armed with handguns took merchandise and an undisclosed amount of cash. They got away and haven't been found. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Our warm-up expected this week has officials warning about flooding concerns to come. The state is asking you to take a close look at your flood insurance policy before it becomes a problem. FEMA predicted last month that Wisconsin's flood risk could be well above normal over the coming months. The Insurance Commission says even if you purchase flood insurance, it doesn't go into effect for 30 days, so now is the time to make sure you have the appropriate coverage. A cancer support nonprofit will be holding a reopening celebration in Middleton this week after flooding devastated their facilities last summer. Gilda's Club of Madison was flooded with more than 500,000 gallons of water and experienced $1.2 million in damage. More than 600 donations helped the organization meet its $100,000 flood insurance deductible. The organization resumed programming in its restored building on Monday, but a formal celebration will be held Thursday afternoon starting at 4:30. The town of Middleton announced big news this week as they bring back Sunflower Days to the Pope Farm Conservancy. The event will take place between July 26th and August 4th this year. The amount of people visiting the sunflowers grew from an annual handful in 2007 to 90,000 people over 10 days in 2017. Due to safety concerns because of large crowds, the Friends of Pope Farm Conservancy, a volunteer group, canceled that event last year. And that just gives me a little sign of hope looking at all of that, Chris. And we've got some more spring-like weather on the way.
That's right, Josh. It's only just the beginning. We are finally starting to enter into some of those warmer temperatures. I mean, get this. We are waking up this morning, and I'm able to tell you, hey, temperatures are starting out at the freezing mark today. Winds out of the west at 9 miles per hour, but some of those temperatures are above freezing. In Janesville, it's 36 right now, 34 in Lone Rock, 33 in Boscobel. Still some 20s and lower 30s as you work your way to the northern half of the state. But I do think we'll all kind of stay put where we are, but warming up a couple degrees as we go through the day. No snow left in our area. Still some snowflakes flying to our north, starting to leave the Twin Cities right now. We'll see some of this wrap around across the Northwoods as we go through the day, but for the most part, we're going to be dealing with cloud cover and some gusty winds. Sustained winds right now at 9 here in Madison, but 30 in Platteville. And then some of those wind gusts are even higher at times. We have a 41 mile per hour wind gust right now in Platteville, but they have seen some of those wind gusts upwards of 50 miles per hour at times. Do expect things to be a very breezy afternoon out there. As you do plan the day ahead, I do expect some cloud cover to stick around, but then some sunshine does come into the picture. And we'll see temperatures right around 35 degrees. But by the time we get you towards the middle of the week, perhaps we can switch those two numbers, Josh.
Oh boy, all right, Chris, looking forward to it. It is 7:04 right now. Foxconn executives are expected to continue their search this week for a possible location in downtown Madison. The State Journal reports an LLC tied to the company recently registered with the state with the name FE1 West Main Madison. That's similar to other names Foxconn has used for real estate in Wisconsin. The 1 West Main Street building at the corner of Main and MLK Boulevard is currently owned by BMO Harris Bank. In a statement to the paper, Foxconn said it's always looking for real estate opportunities, but would not confirm it's looking for office space on the Capitol Square. Hiring slammed on the brakes in February. According to the Labor Department, employers added just 20,000 jobs last month. That was far lower than expected, reviving concerns about the strength of the economy. Meanwhile, unemployment rate fell to 3.8%. The Better Business Bureau says employment scams were among the most risky in 2018. That's because those scams often require the victims to give out their personal information. The BBB says in a typical employment scam, victims might get an email with a job offer, but are then asked to provide their name, address, and social security number. Remember, scams involving online purchases came in second. And then there was one. The second to last Blockbuster video store in Austria is closing at the end of the month, leaving only one remaining shop. There were more than 9,000 stores 15 years ago. Hard to believe that. The final store is in Bend, Oregon, and really business is booming. The Bend Blockbuster has become a tourist attraction with people visiting as far away as Europe and Asia. The store opens 10 new accounts each day. A little girl in Milwaukee has been busy drafting letters for police officers in her city this week after they lost one of their friends and colleagues a month ago. 5-year-old Allison Kruger says her favorite things are the color pink and police. She already knows she wants to be an officer when she grows up. Until then, she's hand-delivering cards of encouragement to men and women in uniform. She started doing that after Milwaukee officer Matthew Rittner was killed in the line of duty. Allison says she's not stopping there.
There's more police officers probably that feel bad.
And if you're interested, there's a GoFundMe page dedicated to the mission so the card-giving campaign can continue. 6 minutes past 7 o'clock right now, and yesterday we showed you what it's like to be a mom here in America. Well, today we head across the Atlantic. Finland is consistently ranked as one of the best places to be a mom. The country is praised for its low infant and mother mortality rates, paid maternity leave and healthcare and daycare systems. Here's Holly Williams.
A woman in labour has gone into cardiac arrest. These medics need to save her life and her baby. But this patient is just a mannequin. And here at Helsinki University Hospital, they hold emergency drills like this one once a week. Finland's healthcare system has helped give it the lowest maternal death rate in the world. And it's available here to everyone for next to nothing. Dr. Aiden Tekai is the chief physician on the labour ward. Every mother here gets a private room and even the option of a water birth.
100 euros you will pay, and of that you will get almost 50% back as a reimbursement.
That's under $60 to have a baby, compared with the US, where the average natural birth costs over $12,000, and insurance doesn't cover all of it.
Can what Finland is doing be replicated in a country like the US?
Definitely.
You're saying there's no reason that the US can't achieve this?
No reason, but just purely politics here.
The maternal death rate in the US has nearly doubled over the last 3 decades. In Finland, they've cut it in half. At a playgroup in Helsinki, we met Laura Smith from Detroit, who's living here with her Finnish husband and their 10-month-old baby, Ella. Maternal death rates are even higher for African-American women. One of the reasons Laura chose to have Ella in Finland instead of back home.
My concerns mattered. My voice mattered. They saw me. They took care of me, no matter what I looked like. And that's something I couldn't be certain about in the States. So when you come back...
Mother and baby are also entitled to free checkups.
Talking these are vaccinations.
Yes.
And when Ella goes to daycare, that'll cost less than $100 a week.
Little hedgehog, huh?
It's all paid for with tax dollars. The wealthy hand over much more in Finland than the US.
We are collecting a lot of taxes, but if you go and ask from the Finns, are they okay with that? Everybody is saying yes. We have get used with that system.
The system began in the 1930s when Finland started handing out free baby boxes to new families, filled with basic necessities.
Oh, look, it's a baby grow.
They're still giving them out today. The box doubles as a makeshift cot.
That's so cute.
And the government also wants parents to spend time with their babies.
In Finland, you're guaranteed around 4 months paid maternity leave by law, and parents can then split another 6 months paid parental leave, though not at the same time.
For Elenita and Julienne, that's more time spent with their 3 daughters.
In some parts of the US, you get no paid maternity leave.
Well, how do you do then?
The long, frozen winter in Finland is hard. But this is one country where they're trying to make parenthood easier.
Holly Williams reporting. 7:10 right now. 2 Dane County families will soon be moving into new warm homes in Fitchburg. Habitat for Humanity of Dane County dedicated 2 homes in Fitchburg's Renaissance on the Park neighborhood this weekend, marking the 280th and 281st Habitat homes in Dane County. A family of 4 and a family of 1 will be moving into the homes in the next few weeks and couldn't be more excited to be part of the community.
Things about Habitat is that they partner with so many different organizations that allow us to kind of become part of the community.
3 more Habitat homes are currently under construction in the same neighborhood. Still ahead this morning, an interesting and very heated debate on the House floor this week involving a Wisconsin representative and Nickelback. The conversation you have to hear to believe. And let's take a live look outside at 7-Eleven this morning. There's the Capitol. Chris is going to update us on a little warmer first look forecast when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Well, the rain, sleet, and snow of yesterday now starting to move out of the area, but not before giving us at least a fresh inch of snow on the ground. It was just enough to make things look kind of pretty again before that all melts away in the week ahead. Yes, my friends, things are getting ready to change up. Now, we are watching the system still as it moves away to our north and east. No snow for us here in southern Wisconsin, but as you work your way up towards the Northwoods, they are still seeing those flakes fly. Temperature-wise, we're right at 32. We're going to continue to see those temperatures hover just around or just above that freezing mark for a lot of us as we go through the day. 34 right now, 36 right now in Janesville, 34 in Lone Rock, same for our friends in Monroe. Kenosha at 37 degrees this morning. Now, sustained winds do show you how breezy things are. While we're only sustained at 9 miles per hour here in Madison, Platteville has a sustained wind right now of 30, and those wind gusts there have been upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour at times. And as our low still pushes towards the north and east, we will continue to see some of those wind gusts stick around throughout today as well. So expect those wind gusts to be anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour pretty much all day long. It's going to take a while before they begin to relax, but as we head into your Monday morning, that's when I do believe we'll finally begin to see those winds relax. Still seeing gusts around 15 to 20 miles per hour at times. So it's going to be a breezy Sunday. Temperatures should top out right around 36 degrees. Overnight tonight, we begin to clear things out. We'll see those lows falling into the teens. And then it's tomorrow. High pressure is going to sit right on top of us, and that's going to keep things at least a little bit colder. We'll see those highs right around that freezing mark for your Monday. But here's what happens after Monday. That region of high pressure gradually begins to slide its way towards our east, with a region of low pressure developing along the Rockies. Together, it's going to pop in a warm southerly wind that is really going to send our temperatures in a positive direction. I mean, we are talking a spike of warmer temperatures in the atmosphere that is going to make it here into the upper Midwest. So perhaps highs all the way as warm as 50 degrees or so as we get you towards the middle of the week. And the good thing about that is we are behind. Typically, we see our first 50-degree day around February 22nd. So it is about time to see those 50-degree temperatures working their way on into town. And I do believe we will see that this week. But it does come with the potential of lightning and thunder as well. I think that's an even trade for the warmer temperatures. Some rain perhaps on Thursday as well, ending as some flurries on Friday. But even next weekend does not have a chance of rain or snow, but more so sunshine and temperatures that'll be closer towards that 40-degree mark.
We haven't seen numbers and actually like a stretch of numbers like that in so long, Chris.
Seriously, the last time we saw 40s was in February, but that was just for one day. So it is about time, my friend.
Oh, very well deserved for all of us. Thank you. Time for #MyMorning, and Kathy emailed us this picture of Hope Farm Park. Check that out right there. Looks very pretty with the snow, although I think a lot of us are ready for it to melt by now. Thank you for sharing, Kathy. What does your morning look like? Take a picture and post it to our social media pages. Use the #MyNews3Morning. Well, one of the best videos of the week comes during a peculiar debate on the floor of the U.S. House of Representatives. Lawmakers were discussing an election reform bill. This involves Wisconsin's 2nd District Representative Mark Pocan and Nickelback. Yes, the rock band.
Only 4 wanted to keep this provision. Everyone else wanted to change this out of 77,000. That's probably about the percent of people who think Nickelback is their favorite band in this country. It's pretty low. And I think if you look at it, Nickelback's your favorite band. I apologize to the gentleman.
Why would you criticize one of the greatest bands of the 90s?
Wow. All right. One more reason why there's a difference between Democrats and Republicans, clearly.
Oh, wow. Representative Davis also admitted that he does have a Nickelback song on his playlist, but while he made an impressive defense of the band, he did get his timeline wrong. Nickelback's first chart hit on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 was How You Remind Me back in 2001. Don't mess with the music. All right, 7:19 this morning. Local doctors are pointing to new vaccination research as just the latest reminder of why it's so important to take your kids to get their shots. And could chilling out be the secret to making your brain healthier? Well, we'll explain how it's working for some area students on News 3 Now this morning.
Well, temperatures are holding on just at the freezing mark in Madison right now. 32 degrees is where we stand. It's pretty breezy as well. Winds coming out of the west at 9 miles per hour. Some of those wind gusts upwards of 25 to 30 miles per hour at times. Outside of the city, some of those are upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour. Temperatures are just warmer to the south, 36 degrees in Janesville right now. Kenosha at 37, a little colder to the north. Wautoma at 29 as we speak. But as we plan the day, those temperatures will gradually warm up a couple more degrees, topping out around 35 to 36 degrees with peaks of sunshine this afternoon. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you. It is 7:22 right now, and on the Health Watch this morning, flu activity is still high across the country. The CDC says the season may not have peaked yet as a second wave of severe infections is impacting some states. According to the latest weekly report, between August 1st and March 2nd, there were as many as 26.3 million flu illnesses. But hospitalization rates are a lot lower than last season. Area doctors continue to remind you to get your kids vaccinated for the flu, the measles, and other preventable diseases. There's a new massive study confirming shots do not increase a child's risk for autism. Researchers in Denmark studied 650,000 children for years after their birth to track any diagnosis on the autism spectrum. Almost all of them received the vaccine for measles, mumps, and rubella. The study found that vaccine didn't increase the risk for autism and didn't trigger it for kids who were on the spectrum. The whole controversy stems from a 1998 study whose lead researcher later lost his medical license when it was found out that he'd altered information. Getting health care can be challenging when you don't live in a big city, whether it means long trips to the hospital or just avoiding going at all. But thanks to technology, that's starting to change. UW Health has a tele-ophthalmology program that allows people in rural areas to get quality eye care without having to drive to Madison. The program uses a camera in local clinics that can take pictures of a person's eye and electronically send it back to the ophthalmologist in Madison. Experts are calling it a breakthrough for HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. For only the second time in history, researchers believe they've cured an HIV-infected patient of the potentially deadly virus this week. The latest person, known as the London patient, had leukemia and received a stem cell transplant to treat the cancer. The donor cells had a protein known to resist HIV. Dr. Rowena Johnston oversaw the Foundation for AIDS Research.
The only people who are going to be cured this way are people who have both HIV and cancer. And whatever the kind of cancer is, they need a stem cell transplant.
I knew I was the only person cured of HIV at that point, and I didn't want to be the only person.
Patient, the first person cured of the virus after having 2 stem cell transplants. Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is in charge of government HIV research, cautions this approach is risky, not feasible, and not scalable. And so while interesting, it really does not advance the field very much. But he points out that it may have relevance for gene editing in the future. Well, we all know there are never enough hours in a day, so slowing down and actually being present can be really hard. But for students at Westside Elementary in Sun Prairie, chilling out is part of their education.
Word out.
They are calling it a brain break. Educators are teaching students about mindfulness through a variety of meditation practices like breathing exercises. Some use a simple meditation app while others get up and dance. The school even has a mindfulness room. Teachers say these exercises are helping their students both let loose and refocus their energy.
Once you see them get calm and get ready, that's when optimal learning can happen.
The Sun Prairie School District wants to get all of their classrooms to take advantage of mindfulness, using Westside Elementary as a great example of how it can help students learn. They even have yoga classes on Fridays. Teachers say everyone, even adults, can benefit from mindfulness, and I can agree with that. 7:26 right now. Still ahead this morning, we'll have the latest on the beer battle brewing between 2 popular companies as their fallout from the Super Bowl continues. Plus,
Hey! 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 Hey!
you've probably seen him or at least heard him at UW hockey games. We'll meet the man behind Hey on News 3 Now this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and thanks for staying with us on this Sunday, March 10th. It is 7:30 right now. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese will update us on the latest forecast in just a moment. But first, new overnight, Madison police are looking for two armed men wanted for robbing a liquor store on Raymond Road. Officers say it happened at the I Liquor on the west side around 9 last night. Two men wearing masks and hoodies armed with handguns took merchandise and an undisclosed amount of cash. They did get away and haven't been found. Anyone with information is asked to call Madison Police or Madison Area Crime Stoppers. The village of DeForest has a new police chief starting tomorrow. James Olson was sworn in on Friday. He comes to our area after working for Milwaukee Police for 29 years. Olson's hiring comes 6 months after the former police chief, Daniel Furseth, resigned when a racist YouTube video surfaced. The Better Business Bureau says employment scams were among the most risky in 2018. That's because those scams often require the victims to give out their personal information. The BBB says in a typical employment scam, victims might get an email with a job offer, but are then asked to provide their name, address, and social security number. Scams involving online purchases came in second. A beer battle that began with a Super Bowl commercial is going strong in Milwaukee. Bud Light launched an ad campaign pointing out other beers like Miller Lite use corn syrup in the brewing process. It's a bit misleading. The company doesn't use the unpopular high fructose corn syrup, and their process isn't much different than Bud's. Some in the Miller town of Milwaukee took offense to the ads. Casey Foltz, owner of Puddler's Hall, is doing something about it, as he recently posted video of his staff pouring all of their Bud Light down the drain and said he won't sell any Budweiser until Bud backs off. And I'm hoping Mother Nature is going to back off for us there, Chris. It's looking a little spring-like out there.
Hey, things are going to get better in time. We just have to finish our way through this last cold snap that we're in. But temperatures this morning already are above freezing in some spots. 36 in Janesville right now. Even Monroe at 33, Lone Rock at 34. And we are right at freezing here in Madison. The snow that came yesterday, that's away from here. There's still some snowflakes flying, though, across the North Woods as a region of low pressure continues to pull away towards the north and east. As that does so, we will see somewhat stronger winds moving in as we go through the day. Sustained winds now up towards 12 miles per hour, still 20 to 30 miles per hour just to our south and west, where we continue to see some of those stronger wind gusts in play as well. These will lift north and east through the afternoon, but also relax in the process. So I think we'll see some of those wind gusts anywhere from about 25 to 30 miles per hour as we go through the afternoon, and temperature should top out right around 35 to 36. I think we'll see a few peaks of sunshine as well. Now, if you're headed out, because we did get some of that snow last night, I'm happy to say roads are in good shape. The plows were out this morning taking care of everyone. So far, no major issues are showing up out on those roadways, Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:33 right now. Into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning. Janesville police say multiple shots were fired in the area of South Academy Street and West Van Buren overnight. Around 3:45, officers were called to that area and found numerous shell casings. They believe there were two shooters. Stay with Channel3000.com for updates to this developing story. Madison police are also investigating a disturbance near Bree-Stevens Field overnight. Police believe there was a fight involving several people that may have led to shots fired. Officers responded to the 1000 block of East Mifflin near Brewerly Street just before midnight for a weapons offense. They say the offense appeared to be targeted but didn't find anything or anyone who was hit by gunfire. Well, the pressure is on for the Badgers as the team gears up for its final game of the regular season today. After Maryland topped Minnesota Friday, Wisconsin's must beat Ohio State to secure the 4th seed in the Big Ten tournament. The 4th seed is the last double bye spot in the tourney. The Badgers' final regular season game tips off at 3:30 this afternoon, and then tournament play starts Wednesday with the championship game set for 1 week from today. 7:34 right now. The Badgers men's hockey team is in the middle of a competitive Big Ten tournament this weekend. After a loss to Penn State in Game 2 of the quarterfinals Saturday, everything is on the line today in a decisive Game 3. But win or lose, Danica Lewis introduces us to a man with infectious enthusiasm that never ends. It's a story you'll only see on News 3 Now.
You've heard the saying, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all.
Losing's not fun, but it's inevitable.
The Badger faithful know that well.
It takes an extraordinary act for me to not be at a hockey game.
In a sea of 17,000, getting singled out requires proven loyalty.
Here we go.
The kind of consistency you'll find in Section 126.
I mean, when it's hockey season, I plan everything Fridays and Saturday nights around hockey games. Big deal.
Jeff Barrett guesses he's spent the last 15 years worth of winter weekends at the Kohl Center. You lose track when you love a team this much.
Shot on goal. The thrill of being there when something special happens. That moment that you know that you're on top of the heap, that it's your team that just won. The feeling is just great, just fantastic. That and beating Minnesota.
As much as you'd think a center ice Santa Claus would stand out on his own, you might know Jeff not by how he looks, but how he cheers.
Hey! Hey! I said, okay, fine. So I'll see if I can get the crowd charged up. So I started doing that. Hey! 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 And then they started putting me on during the game. And the students were the ones that picked up on it first, and they started doing it, and then after that, it just kind of snowballed from there.
Very rare that you saw a defenseman go behind the net and look for it.
It was all by accident. Seriously.
Years fastened to his season seats, like the pins that weigh down his signature cap.
That was another accident. I used to have about 20 years worth of programs.
A retired fleet services repairman for the city.
33 years, 5 months, and 8 days.
Jeff spends the warmer months revving up his Harley.
People ask, why do you ride a motorcycle? It's real easy. I can't afford an airplane.
When a biking buddy lost his battle to cancer, Jeff searched long and hard for something he would love. When he couldn't find an urn that made the cut, he made one himself.
I think it really portrays what biker's all about. I mean, it's a real motorcycle cylinder, and the ones we use right now have actually been used, so as my partner says, they breathe fire.
Ever since he decided to remember his friend in this way, Jeff's been securing platinum nuts and bolts to cylinders and creating custom pieces for a rider's last rest. He worked hard to patent the concept and sells them to families who have lost a Harley enthusiast. Those decades as a mechanic helped.
I actually got that from my father.
And along with inheriting his dexterity, Jeff never lost his dad's wit, even after losing him.
I said, you know, when your number comes up on that board, there's nothing you can do about it. He looked at me and says, yeah, but you don't have to go looking for the guy with the chalk. I don't know how long I'll do it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Come on. Oh. I'll do it as long as I can. I'm not a young man anymore, as you can tell by the color of my beard.
Sometimes simple things catch on, mistakes turn into a legacy. But hey, hey. Sometimes you lose, but the love is what lasts.
Everything in life, you win and you lose. It's just how you handle it.
In Madison, Danica Lewis, News 3 Now.
Strangely enough, Jeff doesn't even skate. He says there wasn't a good place to learn growing up in Mineral Point. If you want to learn more about the urns, just search for Rider's Last Rest on Facebook and contact Jeff through that post. The puck drops for Game 3 of the quarterfinals tonight at 6. More local news now. We're getting a glimpse of what Forward Madison FC, the city's new pro soccer team, will wear when they take the field next month. The home jerseys, which will be worn at Bree Stevens Field, are light blue with a white sash down the center. The away jersey is white with a sash outlined in pink.
We're not playing soccer. It is like an opening day. We're opening our new team store, unveiling our jerseys, and you know, we're fortunate to have a capacity crowd and great energy around the launch of the team.
The jersey colors represent the Madison city flag, while the sash across the center represents the city's isthmus. 7:40 this morning. If you're looking for an escape from this slushy weather, you don't have to go too far. There's an affordable option for local families to enjoy a good flick at a fraction of the usual cost. We're talking to the general manager of the Marcus Palace and Point Cinemas about the kids' film series when News 3 Now This Morning continues. Families in search of fun and affordable ways to come out of winter hibernation are in for a treat. From now through mid-April, the Marcus Palace and Point Cinemas are showing recent animated favorites on Saturdays and Sundays for just $3. Here to talk about this budget-friendly activity this morning is Tom Reichelt, the cinema's general manager. Welcome back to the program.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
You bet. So this is the perfect time of the year to catch a movie, especially with all of this Mother Nature has been throwing at us lately.
Yeah, it sure is. You know, our Kids Dream series has been a fantastic series for us in Marcus Theater, but also in Madison for many, many years. And we're able to come out and the Palace and Point Cinemas to bring back some really good shows for only $3 on Saturdays and Sundays at 10 a.m. And the most important thing is our partners, American Family Insurance, go visit their agents and you can get 2 free tickets from them.
That is good. I think that's one of those things that as a family, if you have a family of 4, family of 6, I mean, it can get expensive trying to find something to do during the wintertime.
Sure. So we recognize that with Marcus Theaters, and we want to make sure we have some value options for them. And then during these shows, we're offering $2.75 popcorns and $2.75 sodas.
So this is 10 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays?
Yeah, 10 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays. Even today we have Ferdinand, which did fantastic yesterday, and it's going to do well today as well.
So this is going to go through mid-April, and talk a little bit about, as far as the programs go, are they going to be changing the viewing options throughout the couple months?
Sure. So what we do is every week we have a different feature. So Ferdinand's this week, and then we have Teen Titans, we go to Trolls, House of the Clock in its Walls, and Sing, and we'll finish up with The Grinch. With our grand finale this spring.
So lots of family-friendly options. Talk a little bit about the importance that you guys have had with bringing this kids fair, this friendly series, because it seems like this has been growing in popularity over the years.
Yeah, so we started in Madison, probably 2006, and over the years it spread from here to other cities and then through the states that we operate in, and it's been a great partnership with American Family, but also it's really important that we touch on the value that the experience brings, and we'll do it affordably through these programs and then with our guests.
Well, very good. We'll throw up the information right now so that way you have the graphic up there. So just a little reminder for folks, if they're heading out, what do they need to know?
Well, the big thing is make sure that you get there early. You can buy your tickets online. And then also, we also have other value features such as our Tuesday programs and our Thursday $6 programs for our students.
Lots of options available.
We do indeed. Thank you.
All right, Tom. Well, thanks for coming back in. We'll get this up on channel3000.com as well. Thanks. All right. Well, again, you can take your family to the theater for just $3 a ticket. Live look outside right now. It's going to be another good movie day out there. There's a shot of the Capitol this morning. Chris is talking a warm-up ahead for our work week in just a little bit. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. You're watching News 3 Now this morning.
Well, the snowflakes that did fly yesterday starting to move away from the area. Still, some of those do continue to fly over parts of northern Wisconsin as we speak, especially once you go up I-39 towards Wausau. But even still, drier air starting to take over as a whole. So most of this tapering off to just snow showers and flurries. Now, we don't have any of that here in Madison. Still a lot of cloud cover. The temperature right at 32 degrees, and those winds still trying to pick up now out of the west at 12 miles per hour. 34 in Janesville right now. Same for our friends in Lone Rock. Boscobel, you were at 33, 29 in Viroqua right now, but the winds are sustained at 24 miles per hour in Platteville and 29 miles per hour in Dubuque. And we're gradually going to see those winds continue to be a little bit stronger as we go through the afternoon and evening. Wind gusts to our south and west upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour. We're seeing our wind gusts right now mainly from 20 to 30 miles per hour as we speak, and that will gradually be increasing as we go throughout the day to about 25 to 35 miles per hour. And really, that's where we're going to hang out, because as this low continues to lift to the north and east, our winds will gradually begin to subside, especially as we get you towards Monday morning. By tomorrow at 10:30, we're talking winds really just breezy, but nowhere near as strong as we've seen them so far this weekend. Now, temperatures today will top out right around 36 degrees. We'll cool down towards the upper teens tonight, especially if we can get those skies to clear out in any way, shape, or form. Headed into your Monday, we'll top out with those highs right around the freezing mark, but then we get a lot warmer once we get beyond Monday. Here's why. We have high pressure in control right now. That's going to slide over towards the south and east. As that does so, we are tapping into some warmer air that's going to come in from the south, and that's really going to allow those temperatures to spike as we go through the week ahead as well. In fact, here's the upper level temperatures, just showing you a big dip in the jet stream out west, but here's that ridge of warmth that you're going to see over the eastern half of the country. And so here's what that means. Temperatures perhaps reaching the 50s. And it's about time. Typically, we reach the 50s in late February. The camera crew behind the camera is celebrating when I mentioned the 50s. Typically, that comes around February 22nd, so we're late. But I do think that day will come very soon, my friends. And it will also be accompanied by some lightning and thunder that day as well. Expect those highs to be around 51 on Wednesday, 45 with some rain on Thursday. Another cool down does come behind it. Yes, so we could see some flurries on Friday. But Josh, I think you and I are excited about sunshine next weekend. That would be the first in about 8 weekends, if my counting is correct, that we have not had some sort of snowstorm or rainstorm on a weekend.
And you can tell that sun is really starting to warm up too. Like even at like 30 degrees, how amazing that feels.
The sun angle is getting higher, and as we go further into March, that sun angle just gets higher and higher, which means goodbye to all the snow, and any snow that we do get, you're not going to have to shovel it. The sun will do it for you.
Finally, some good news. We're getting there. We are getting there. Stay with News 3 Now this weekend, and then tomorrow morning it's Sleep Awareness Week, and we're dispelling some myths when it comes to how much sleep you should be getting. But first, happy birthday, Barbie. The icon is turning the big 6-0, and we're looking back on the legacy when News 3 Now this morning continues. Welcome back at 7:56. This weekend, Barbara Millicent Roberts turned 60. If you don't recognize her full name, you might simply know her as Barbie. The most popular fashion doll ever made, Barbie has spent her life inspiring girls from around the world. She made her debut at the New York Toy Fair in 1959, and since then she's held more than 200 careers, including robotics engineer, astronaut, and journalist. She's also ventured into politics, running for president 6 times since 1992. Barbie was named after her creator, Ruth Handler's daughter. This weekend, buildings around the world are lit up in Barbie's signature pink to celebrate her 60th. I wonder how Ken's doing.
That's a good question. I was just trying to memorize that name, Barbara Millicent Roberts.
Is quite the name. Roberts, I think.
There we go. How about
too much
that?
to remember.
I wonder if she was ever a meteorologist at any point. She might have tips. You know, we're always taking tips.
To get us through winter?
Seriously. Well, I think we're going to get through winter at this point, Josh.
That's good.
Warmer conditions are on the way. This is the middle of the week. We'll have high pressure to our east and a low pressure to our west. Between the two, you were talking a surge of warmth that will come our way, along with the possibility of some lightning and thunder.
Oh, wow.
As well.
Hello, spring.
Yes, right on in
Spring
time.
has sprung. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Make it a great Sunday.